Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the next subtopic of the chapter Wave Optics, that is methods for obtaining coherent sources. In earlier video we had discussed about this conditions for producing steady interference pattern, as well as we discussed about the intensity distribution with respect to their constructive and destructive interference and analytical treatment. And by using analytical treatment we can prove that these fringes are equally spaced. That means x is equal to x dash. So now today we are going to discuss about which are the methods for obtaining coherent sources. We know that the term coherent is represent same amplitude, same phase and having same frequency. This type of wave or this type of source we are consider coherent source, and that coherent source we are consider in terms of only monochromatic light, because the term mono is represent single source, and whenever we consider a single source, so that single source is having equal angular frequency, equal phase difference and time period is equal. Because of that one we are consider coherent sources. So there are two methods for obtaining coherent sources. First method is Lloyd's mirror and second one is Fresnel's biprism. See, the second method is also related to the diffraction of light. In that we will discuss about the two types of diffraction, Fraunhofer and Fresnel, and in that we will discuss Fraunhofer diffraction due to single and double slit. But here that Fresnel biprism we are using for obtaining coherent sources. So consider first one, Lloyd's mirror. See, the Lloyd's mirror, we are by using Lloyd's mirror we are consider a real source. That means when the real source is false on the mirror, or when the real source is false on the Lloyd's mirror, it forms a virtual sources. What is the term virtual sources is represent? The term virtual source is nothing but these sources that do not exist in reality, we cannot see, but are used during calculation to direct shadow rays in the appropriate direction. That means those shadow rays which are directed in appropriate direction, that rays are nothing but that rays are found by virtual sources. Or sometimes if you are using a mirror, that means if you perform one experiment at home, that means when sunlight falls on the mirror, the light of when sunlight falls on the mirror, it reflects back on the given surface, and that reflection are nothing but the virtual sources. So here in diagram we are consider real source. See, here we are consider two different color line. So that blue line are represent that the sum of the light falls directly on the screen. Look at here, that blue line, the direction, this is the screen and that is nothing but a mirror. So when this real source is directly falls on the screen, so that is denoted by blue lines, and some sources are reflected back on the screen. That means they first take after reflection, when the light falls after reflection as shown by red lines, and these two lines are derived from the single source, that is nothing but real source. That's why these are called rays of the real source, and this real source which is nothing but coherent sources. So Lloyd mirror is just used, it's a advanced technique or advanced device which is used to reflect, which is used to find out virtual sources, or which is used to obtaining coherent sources. The second one is Fresnel biprism. Here we are using biprism. The term bi is represent two. That means when we are consider two prism and their bases are joined together, then we are consider that prism is called biprism, and their vertex are joined together. And if we consider the base of that prism is B, so look at here in the diagram we are consider ABC is a biprism, where BC is called base of the given prism, and that AB and AC are called refracting surface of the given prism. So that BC we are considered two prism are joined together, that means the base of the two prism are joined together. Okay, and the vertex angle of this biprism is nearly of 180 degree. That means suppose if you are consider this is BC, is the base, so that half circle is represent how much angle, which is represent 180 degree angle. And what is the term vertex angle is represent? The vertex angle is the angle between two surfaces of a prism. Here already we have considered two surfaces of a given prism, so angle made by these two surfaces are called vertex angle, and this vertex angle is nearly equal to the 180 degree, and it can be made up of two prism with small refracting angle 30 inch to 1 minute. That means this prism, if you consider the refracting angle, that means that angle, look at here, this angle, this B and this C, so that refracting angle is nearly equal to the 30 minutes to 1 degree. 1 degree. Okay, so in the given diagram or in the given arrangement, the refracting edges mean B and C, the refracting edges of the biprism is kept parallel to the length of the slit. See, look at here, that S is represent source, that S1 and S2 are represent virtual sources. That means when the light is passing through these sources on this AB and AC are called refracting edges of the given prism. When the light falls on the refracting surface of AB and AC, some amount of light is reflect back on the previous position, and that reflect back we are represent in terms of sources S1 and S2, where S1 and S2 are also called virtual sources of a given light. Okay. So these two halves of the biprism from virtual images S1 and S2, these are coherent sources having obtained from a single source S. Look at here, that red dashed line are represent virtual sources. When light falls on this refracting, they get reflect back. So when these sources are interfere with each other, that means this 3 and this 3 is passing through the biprism, some amount of light is reflect back, but some amount of light is passing through this base of the given prism, that is denoted by these arrows on this screen. So that red region, look at here, this red region is represented by superposition region. So this red region is called superposition region. Why it is called superposition? Already we know that the principle of superposition of two waves, when two or more waves are interacting, then the resultant is the vector sum of all waves when passing from one point to the another point. So when this source of light were passing from this vertex angle of the given prism, so they are interfere with each other, and this central region, this called superposition region, because they are producing interference pattern in shaded region. So that region is also called as superposition region. So these are the two methods for obtaining coherent sources. The next point is, that is 7.8.5, that is nothing but optical path. Optical path, we know that path is nothing but distance traveled by particle. Same here, we are represent the distance traveled by a source of light with respect to prism, that is called optical path. In that we are discussing about in case of vacuum, in case of medium, what is the optical path is obtaining. So consider the next point is what? Optical path. See, we know that the phase of a light wave having angular frequency omega and wave vector k traveling in a vacuum along the x direction is given by kx minus omega t. See, we already discussed the resultant amplitude of the given wave, that is r is equal to a1 square plus a2 square plus 2 1 a2 cos phi. See, we already discussed that expression. In that we are represent x is equal to sine kx omega t. So what the term kx omega t is represent? K is called wave vector, x is called displacement of the particle, omega is called angular frequency, and small t is called time required for light passing from one point to the another point, and the term omega t is represent the phase angle. So we know that when we consider along x direction, so that wave is represented in terms of kx minus omega t. And we already remember the relation of k and omega is, look at here, I wrote here, k is equal to omega upon v. Say this is equation 1, where k is called wave vector, omega is called angular frequency, and v we are represent in terms of what? Speed of the wave. When suppose this k is equal to omega upon v, this relation is related along x direction. Suppose we are consider the wave is changes their direction with respect to distance delta x, then what will happen with this equation? So if the light wave travel a distance delta x, then their phase angle is also changes, and that phase angle we are represent in terms of what? In terms of delta phi. So look at here, next point is what? If the light wave travels a distance delta x, then it changes phase by delta phi is equal to k into delta x, right? Because k and delta x, using equation 1, that means equation 1 is represent what? K is equal to omega upon v. Write down here, instead of k, omega upon v into delta x. See, this is equation 1. In case of vacuum, we know that v is represent speed of light in given speed of light in a medium, but in case of vacuum that v is replaced by c. So delta phi is given by omega into delta x upon c. Say this is equation number 3. But when we consider with respect to medium, then we also have to consider the refractive index n. So the next term is, when we consider in case of medium with refractive index n, then the wave vector again we are represent in terms of k dash. Why? Because we are considered with respect to their refractive index. So wave vector k dash is equal to what? Again I wrote same thing, omega upon v, but what is v? V is equal to c upon n. This is nothing but the definition of absolute refractive index, that is n is equal to c upon v. Therefore v is equal to c upon n. So put the value of v, will get k dash is equal to omega upon c upon n, where that n is taken to the numerator, will get n omega upon c. Say this is equation number 4. So when we consider in terms of refractive index, then their phase angle is also changed. Again we are using the same definition, that is delta phi is equal to omega delta x upon v, right? But v is equal to, again we are using c upon n, so we are writing c upon n. Again n is going to the numerator, we will get this value n omega delta x upon c. Consider this n and this delta x is equal to delta x dash. So equation number 5 becomes omega into delta x dash upon c, and the term n into delta x or delta x dash is called optical path. And in case of vacuum, we know that refractive index is equal to 1. Because of that one, we can consider a path length of delta x in a medium of refractive index n is equivalent to a path length of n delta x in a vacuum. So in vacuum n is equal to 1, then the optical path is equal to actual path traveled by light source. So another definition of optical path is given by, it is defined as the corresponding path in vacuum that light travels in the same time as it takes in a given medium. So as we know that time, the definition of speed is what? Distance upon time. Therefore time is nothing but distance upon speed. So that's why I wrote time is equal to distance upon speed, small d upon v. So in case of time, we are represent in case of vacuum. First we'll discuss in case of medium. We can write t is equal to d suffix medium upon v suffix medium. We are not changing the form, we just wrote the suffix in case of medium. And in case of vacuum, again time is equal to d suffix vacuum upon v suffix vacuum. Compare these two equations. So we can write d medium upon v medium is equal to d, that is distance with respect to vacuum, upon speed with respect to vacuum when light travels in with respect to vacuum. So if you are taking here, so we can write d vacuum is equal to d medium upon d medium taking outside, v vacuum upon v medium, and that v vacuum upon v medium is nothing but refractive index of the given material or refractive index of the given source of light. So we can write d vacuum is equal to d medium, that means distance traveled by a light source in a medium multiple of their refractive index of that medium, and that is nothing but optical path of the given light source or optical path of the given light wave. See, this definition is very important. This is the new part of your chapter wave optics, so learn as much as possible. And if you have any difficulties regarding optical path, regarding this obtaining coherent sources, or regarding anything, you can leave a message in comment box. In the next video we will discuss the another important topic of this chapter, that is nothing but diffraction, and in that we will discuss what is the diffraction, what are their types, and what are their expression, and what are their criterion. So the whole topic we have to discuss in the next video. Okay, so we will see in the next video. Thank you.